Thank you, Albert Einstein. So that's why we're here. I thank you all for being here. So I just want to really make a point that public opinion and individuals can really make a difference. Certainly everybody here that is connected to something that's bigger than themselves has an even better chance. But recently, there's a guy that's going to be executed on Wednesday in Oklahoma, who we managed to get a 2-week stay against all odds because of the power of Twitter. First, because nobody cared that he was innocent, but they did care that I called the governor a horrible person. And that caught fire, and then they answered, dumped on me. And then all of a sudden everybody got excited because now there was like this thing happening, but they didn't really care about Richard Glossop, but they did care about this cat fight that was happening between the governor and myself. Out of nowhere, and so Sister Helen had called me. She said, you know, we've got pro bono lawyers that are coming now. He's clearly innocent, but I don't know what to do. The time is ticking. We only have a few weeks. We got Move On we wrote a petition. We got Move On. Thousands of people started signing on to this petition, again, thanks to the internet. Then Dr. Phil, of all people out of nowhere, who's from Oklahoma, who knew, and against the death penalty, called and said, would you come on the show? Within 5 days, he organized a 1-hour special, interrupted his rerun schedule. He had Sister Helen, myself, someone else who'd been exonerated, the lawyer, explained the ins and outs of how you end up on death row and can be innocent, raised a lot of the new information that no one was allowing, and sent it to the governor because I stupidly thought that maybe if we showed her what was going to happen and she wasn't blindsided, she would at least say, well, maybe we should hear some of this new information. No, she just got more angry. I even apologized on the air to her for calling her a horrible person and just said, okay, you're not a horrible person, I don't know you, but this would be horrible. That didn't work. He went to visit her. A number of high-profile people in Oklahoma, like a coach and different people came forward and said, wait a minute, what's going on here? Then Richard Branson got involved, and just all of a sudden I got this call that Richard, you know, it's all over his sites and everything. That was huge. So now 300,000 people are signing the petitions, and they go to the next level and the next level, and 700 people wrote Richard letters on death row. A lot of the phone banks, you know, at the governor's mansion or wherever it was, all went down, you know, people flooded. I guess my point is that when people get information and they understand, they really will be active. Coming back from the Toronto Film Festival, I'm in the car, Sister Helen calls me, they said they turned off his phone, he's eating his last meal, it doesn't look good, but he's made his peace with it. He feels that if at least people see the death penalty and what's really going on, then he will not have died in vain. They're outside the witness room, because she was his spiritual advisor. I mean, it was like so weird because it's like the movie and now we're really on TV trying to save this real guy, and it was so strange. And they're outside waiting to be admitted for the execution, and 4 guys in uniform come and say, there's been a stay, the bus will take you back. So now Wednesday's the date. They're working like crazy, they have a lot of new information. The governor just does not care. She's furious that there's been this much attention. So we don't know what's going to happen on Wednesday, but it's just one more example of how somebody that there's absolutely no physical evidence, there's no motive, there's no nothing, became a victim of political ambition, of a DA who's made his reputation on sending people to death row. And you know, when people saw the show that Dr. Phil put together, people in the audience were just they couldn't believe it because they just don't understand how broken this system is. So I thank everyone. I mean, it's like Joan of Arc, you people that are working in this. I mean, it's, you know, one life at a time, 17 years later, 20 years later. It's just appalling how long someone can be on death row and be innocent, or be on death row and be mentally challenged, or or underage when they committed a crime. There's a little girl that was 15. She's been on death row her entire life. So I thank you all, and I love the fact that there's something practical that can come out of this, because there are things that can actually be done. And what always is upsetting to me is when people get very riled up and upset, and then life intrudes and you forget about it and go on. So what we have to do today, as you said, is decide that we're really going to follow through and with these organizations and really help these amazing people that are spending their lives just pushing that huge rock up a very steep hill. And so I thank you all for coming.